Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make Nanaimo bars. These are the bars I mentioned when I was making the wholemeal honey crackers or graham crackers, and these Nanaimo bars apparently originate from Nanaimo, which is a city on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. And I've taken a recipe from a website called About Nanaimo, which is about that city basically. I've had to convert that recipe into metric measurements for my purposes, so hopefully that's going to work out well. And I've started off by lining an 8-inch square cake tin with parchment paper. The actual recipe just seems to imply that you can put these bars into an ungreased square tin like that, but I prefer to have it lined so that I can take it out and cut it with ease basically. So I'll go on to the ingredients, and for this I have 210 grams, which is 1 3/4 cups of graham crackers. So these are my whole wheat honey biscuits or crackers, which I have blitzed in the processor to make them into crumbs basically. I have 80 grams, 1 cup of shredded coconut. I've actually added a little bit of desiccated coconut because I didn't have quite enough shredded coconut, but you could use desiccated coconut instead. I have 70 grams, half a cup of fairly finely chopped almonds. I've left a few chunks in because I want to be able to see those in the base of the bars. I have 1 medium egg, which would be large in the USA, 113 grams, half a cup of unsalted butter, 50 grams, 1/4 cup of caster sugar, and 32 grams, 5 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Those 7 ingredients are all for the base of the Nanaimo bars. And then for the middle layer I have 113 grams of softened unsalted butter, 18 grams, 2 tablespoons, sorry, that's half a cup, 18 grams, 2 tablespoons of custard powder. And this custard powder is vanilla flavoured, and it calls for vanilla custard powder, but if you use Bird's custard powder, that tends to be vanilla flavoured anyway. I have 2 cups, 220 grams of icing sugar, and I'm going to use 40 millilitres, 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons of double cream. And then for the chocolate to go on the top, I have 113 grams, 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. Now I actually only had 70% chocolate, which is bittersweet, but I did have semi-sweet chocolate chips, which are not quite the same thing, but I'm going to use those instead. And I have 28 grams of butter, unsalted butter, 2 tablespoons. So that's all the ingredients, and the first thing we need to do is to make the base. And to make the base, I have a pan of barely simmering water with a bowl on top of it, and I'm going to put into that my butter, sugar and cocoa powder, and I'm going to melt those and stir them until they're all combined. And with that melted like that, I'm going to whisk it as I gradually add my egg. This will cook the egg through. And with that mixed in, I'm going to take that off the heat. I'm just going to whisk that again, and then I'm going to add in my remaining ingredients for the base, which is my graham crackers, the almonds and the coconut. And I'm going to stir those and get those fully combined. And that looks good enough to me. So then I'm going to put that into my prepared cake pan. And I'm going to spread that around all over the base, and then I'm going to press it down to compact it, but try to make it as level as I can. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into the fridge and let it chill, and hopefully it will set up a little bit. And after about 30 minutes, I will come back and I will make the filling to go in the middle before the chocolate goes on the top. So I'll come back to do the second layer once this is chilled for 30 minutes. I've chilled the base so that it's firmed up a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is to mix in the ingredients to make the second layer. And the original recipe says to put them all into the bowl and mix them, but I'm actually going to do it slightly differently, in that I'm going to mix 3 ingredients. That's my 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons of cream, with my custard powder, and the butter, and I'm going to cream those together using my hand mixer. And then I'm going to add in the icing sugar, a little bit at a time. And I haven't sieved this, but it will break up as I mix it. And that's well enough mixed. So then I'm going to put that into the cake tin. And I'm going to spread it across the surface as evenly as I can. And I think that's reasonably well spread. So I'm going to put that into the fridge now, and I'm going to chill that and I'm going to leave it in there probably for about an hour, and then I'm going to melt my chocolate with a little bit of butter, put that on the top and chill that again. But I'll come back and do that once I've let this chill for a little while. I just want it firm enough that it will take the chocolate without melting, basically. Now, as my second layer chills in the fridge, I've taken a pan with just a little drop, maybe an inch of water, hot water in, put another pan on top, and I'm going to put my 2 tablespoons of butter and my chocolate into that pan. Now you could just put this direct into the saucepan on a low heat, but because I had the induction hob out, I thought I'd do it like this. And I'm going to just heat that and give it a stir around until the chocolate has melted and the butter has combined with it. So that chocolate has now melted into the butter, so I'm going to turn off the heat and I'm going to let it cool just for a couple of minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll spread it on the top of the Nanaimo bars. So my chocolate has cooled a little bit, so I'm just going to pour that into the tin and I'm just going to spread it around. I'm just going to give that a shake just to level it off a little bit like that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that back into the fridge, but only for about 10 minutes at first. I just want the chocolate to firm up. So I've actually chilled my Nanaimo bars to help set the chocolate for about 30 minutes, and I've taken it out of the tin, and now I'm just going to cut it. And I'm going to do it by eye, but the reason for cutting it before it fully sets is so that the chocolate doesn't crack. And I'm going to wipe down my knife between each cut. And I'm cutting mine into 16 pieces, but how big you make them is entirely up to you, basically. And I can see I've not cut mine particularly straight. And then with those cut like that, I'm going to put them back into the fridge and I'm going to chill them further until that chocolate has set, and then I'll come back and we'll have a taste. So I've now chilled the Nanaimo bars for long enough, and I'll just show you them again. You've already seen them when I cut them, but I'll have a taste of one that I've already had some of. It's very, very good. That base with the almonds and the coconut and the cocoa powder is very good, and then that sort of custardy or buttercream in the centre, and then the little crispness of the chocolate. Mine's still a little bit soft, it's not quite set. Maybe I put slightly too much on, but it's sort of perfectly good. So these are the sort of things that I think need to be stored in the fridge, because the buttercream isn't good. I mean, you can leave it out of the fridge if you're in a cool place, but during the summer it's not going to hold up very nicely, I don't think. And I have read that you can freeze these quite well as well, and they keep for a while in the freezer. So that's the Nanaimo bars. It's my first time trying them, and I'm quite impressed, I must admit. That's going to be it for today, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, which will take you to the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.